As you may have already guessed, you'll need a strong vocabulary to achieve a high verbal score on the GRE. In fact, about half of all verbal questions are largely a test of your vocabulary. So it's important that your studies include plenty of vocabulary building exercises. Now, there are about 200,000 words in the modern English language, so building your vocabulary may seem like a daunting task. The good news is that the GRE test makers are fairly consistent with the words they like to test. And the really good news is that we've already compiled 2 lists of commonly tested words. One list contains 500 words for students who want to achieve an average verbal score, and the other list contains 500 words for those who want to achieve a high score. Now, of course, everyone wants to score as high as possible, but that does not mean you should jump straight to the advanced word list. After all, you don't want to overwhelm yourself with words like opprobrium and tumid until you're already certain of the meaning of easier words like censure and discomfit. Now, there are 2 different ways to access these word lists. You can download the 2 PDFs from the webpage where you're currently viewing this video, or you can access them from the Quizlet.com website. Let's examine these 2 options in greater detail, beginning with the word lists you can download from our site. When you download these lists, you'll find that the definitions have been omitted. There's a good reason for this. Taking the time to look up words and write your own definitions will force you to engage with the words, and this engagement will dramatically increase your retention. In fact, it's much more productive to spend 30 minutes actively engaging with 20 new words than it is to spend the same amount of time passively reviewing the definitions of 100 words. Now, when it comes to the word lists, you can either print the lists and enter your definitions next to each word, or you can create your own flashcards. It doesn't really matter. What does matter in all of this is that you fully engage in the process of learning new words. So, to help you engage in the process, consider doing some or all of the following activities with every unfamiliar word on the lists. First, try to identify at least 1 synonym and 1 antonym for that word. Also, for each word, indicate whether the word has a positive, negative, or neutral connotation by placing a plus sign, minus sign, or n by the word. Another tip to consider is to identify any prefixes and roots that indicate the meaning of the word. For example, the word synchronize means to occur at the same time. Hiding inside this word, we have the prefix syn, which means together, and we have the root chron, which means time. As you'll see in upcoming lessons, knowing prefixes and roots can often help you learn and recall difficult words. Okay, another way to engage with each word is to say the word and definition aloud. Doing so will require multiple areas of your brain to work together, and activating different parts of your brain will lead to greater retention. Another tip is to write or say aloud a sentence that correctly uses the word. Or you might consider using imagery and mnemonic devices. For example, if you're trying to remember the word truculence, which means fierce aggression, you might imagine some angry, violent guy in a truck holding a lance. Just remember that when using imagery, the more extreme the images, the greater the recall later on. Alright, moving along, another way to engage with new words is by rhyming. For example, take the word froward, which means stubbornly contrary and disobedient. Since froward rhymes with Howard, you might picture a guy named Howard behaving stubbornly in some ridiculous situation. Once again, this level of engagement will increase your retention. Okay, so those are some tips for memorizing new words. Now, as I mentioned earlier, another way to access the word lists is through the Quizlet.com website. Here, you can access the word lists via the Greenlight GRE main page, or you can access each word list through these 2 links. Here's a screenshot of the Quizlet page for the advanced word list. As you can see, all 500 words are listed, along with their definitions. There's even a speech feature that reads words and definitions aloud, which will aid in memorization. You can also find each word and definition up here, where you can advance the words one at a time. For a greater challenge, you can unclick this button so that only the words appear, and you can spend some time recalling the definition. Then, when you're ready, you can click this button to reveal the definition. Quizlet also has other study options, including matching multiple choice and true-false quizzes from the word lists. Then, once you've learned some new words, you can use Quizlet's interactive games that require you to further engage with the vocabulary. Finally, Quizlet allows you to combine, export, print, and copy lists. The copy function is especially useful because it lets you copy the list to your own account to make it editable. From there, you can delete the words you already know, leaving only those you have left to learn. Okay, that's a general overview of how to build your GRE vocabulary before test day. Be sure to find the study methods that work best for you, and be sure to practice them daily. Just remember that no word list out there will be all-inclusive, so it's still possible you'll see a word or two you've never seen before. When that occurs, just be sure to note the word and learn it before test day.